Okay, we're in game 2 of round 2 of the Modern Showcase Challenge review. Let's see what we have here. So we have a potential turn 1 if we draw either the Allosaurus Rider or the Neoform. No, that's not right. Allosaurus Rider or the Summoner's Pact. That's an 8 outer, and we have 3 draws at it. I believe each 8 outer is like 15% or 14%. So this isn't obviously exact math, and you can't really obviously cannot refer to hypergeometric calculator during a tournament in paper, but that's a good rule of thumb. So let's see, like 14% per draw at an 8 outer times 3, that's like almost like 39%. So we can shortcut this and say that this is 39% to produce a Grizzlebrand on turn 1. Of course, it's not as simple as that because they can turn one Thoughtseize, or they can turn. We can have a Summoner's Pact kill, and then we fizzle and then we lose on the spot. So because of that, like let's say like our equity is like actually not the 39% that we calculated of producing Grizzlebrand. It's more like 35, 30%. Then we can think about like, would our equity be better than like 35%, for example, by mulliganing to 6? I think the answer is yes, especially post-board where they're more likely to have disruption, not just like have a goldfish hand from dredge as they typically do. I think it's marginal. This is closer to a keep than like I think most people think, but I think that we're gonna pass on it. Well, the other benefit is like even if we have Glittering Wish, for example, that's like still something, and we don't have to use a counter from Gemstone Mine or take a damage from the Canopy. We can use that Chancellor mana and try to like um try to what is it called? Hit a Glittering Wish. So that's like safe. That's like a floor case. But I think I'm gonna mulligan here. Ooh, this is so close. Like even though we don't have we don't have mana, this is close. So these two will make 2 green. This will filter into blue green, and if this was Neoform, this is turn 1. And I don't think we can keep this as is because this is too all in. Yeah. I think this hand has to be a keep here. Note that as I've noted before in the round 1 video, I prefer Leyland Sanctity over Veil Summer on the draw to counteract Thoughtseize, but on the play, as I said, Veil Summer is my preference. I think this has to be a keep here, so let's think about this here. So these two are a must. This is nice to have because it's redundancy if we flood out. This is nice to have because it's a form of redundancy if we get the Neoform taken. It's also a Allosaurus Rider, a very slow Allosaurus Rider. I think I'm gonna keep these 4, and then definitely not keeping Nourishing Show. I think we're keeping Leyline Sanctity, and because I think that post board, a large amount of their keep 7s are going to be biased towards Thoughtseize hands. I'm hoping that this is worth at least 1 card, and this is worth at least like 1 to 2 turns, 1 to 2 draws. So I think that's what I would keep here. Pass me agreed as well. Hopefully this can do a lot of work. So they're gonna have a, what is it? Shriekhorn? Sure. Okay, so if you can't tell, we're about to run fairly good in this tournament that day. So all we need is one of the 14 lands. Note that if I do take the Simian Spirit Guide, if I do draw the Simian Spirit Guide, depending on what their turn 2 is, I will filter this for blue-green and try to hit a green card to pitch. But hopefully they don't have a good start. Looks like they do. But no pressure. No onboard presence, which is good. And obviously our multi-5 turn 1 lander got there on turn 2 because I'm a very lucky guy. So I'll probably draw once, but not twice, unless the hits are really good. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop here. So they can obviously mill 3 Creeping Shells, but that's really mathematically unlikely. They do have the Conflagrate in there already, so they don't have a Dredger, so they can Conflagrate for 6. So that means that actually, if Shriekhorn mills a Dredger into a Creeping Shell, or if Shriekhorn just mills into a Creeping Shell, I would be dead. So I actually don't like this my draw 7 here. I think I would have just stayed at 16 and passed. Yeah, so this is why reviewing games are very important. Very important. You can see a lot of the mistakes that you didn't see in the moment, but as you can see here, when they draw, they'll be up to 6 cards, and that's conflict for 6, and then any creep and show does it. So I think that was a bad reason for me to keep going. Hopefully we don't get punished here. Doesn't seem like we do because they missed on creeping show or the dredger. So thankfully not punished. All right. So hopefully past me is more careful now. Okay. So now I remember this game. So this was a very bizarre game because one, why is lightning axe in your deck post board, and two, if this is happening, you know what's gonna happen, right? So this was a very interesting game, and I had to contort myself. Yeah. So there's the lethal lightning axe, and as you can recall, we have one Grizzlebrand. So our only option right now is to try to combo fully at instant speed, which basically involves us drawing the entirety of our deck and then finishing off with a Laboratory Maniac without Grizzlebrand. Which we do have way of doing in terms of Manamorphos or Dissenter's Deliverance. So at least we have the mana on our side, right? Because yeah, we have the 3 lands and the four Simian Spirit Guides. This is one of the few spots where I think Life Goes On would be better than Children Corliss because obviously we can't cast Children at instant speed, but we can with Life Goes On. So I would say that our odds of winning from this spot is actually pretty low. But let's see what we draw. Yikes. So we literally have no life gain spell. I think we just have to Metamorphose here. Probably use a Simian Spirit Guide and keep our lands open. Okay, so we use these lands, which might be a problem down the road because like what if well, first of all if you tap into Gemstone Mine you don't have the white source for Children Corliss down the road. So if I was tapping 2 lands I would tap these two. Although the thinking is like I do want to leave this open for to cycle if we need to draw a card to win the game with Laboratory Maniac without Grizzlebrand. But my preference is actually pitching a Simian Spirit Guide and the Gemstone Mine to Metamorphose here. Whoops. No. Okay. Well, well, unfortunately, I misclicked and pressed through that, but basically, the rest is pretty self-explanatory here. Unfortunately, I found a Nourishing Shoal and a Summoner's Pact from the Metamorphose here, and I just kept drawing and drawing with the lethal Lightning Axe on the stack until I was at exactly 0 cards in the library. Then I let Grizzlebrand die, and then we summon Laboratory Maniac. Then through Wild Canter, we filtered the red into green, and then we have the Dissenter's Deliverance to draw a card from an empty library and win the game with Laboratory Maniac. So my apologies for misclicking and speeding up the turn, but it was an interesting spot because usually this deck doesn't win at instant speed, quote unquote. But even though there is a lethal removal spell, on Grizzlebrand. Like it happens with like Abrupt Decay or sorry, Assassin's Trophy or Path to Exile as well. You can still win by drawing into enough life gain and gaining enough life to manually get to 0 cards in the library, get the Laboratory Maniac out, and then draw a card. So this was something different that I could got to demonstrate for you guys. This wasn't just a straightforward combo kill, which is good. And now we're 2-0 in the Modern Showcase Challenge, and we'll be covering round 3, game 1 of the tournament in the next video. Thanks and bye bye.